rest of the season. They might not. 21-16.
Chiefs, week 15.
Does Taysom Hill care
Miles Juergens?
about statistics? Mitchell Juergens. Peter. Mitchell Juergens. Shout out to you. Take it away, Taysom. Peter's not listening today.
I don't care as much as, people might think about statistics and, all this stuff. I care about winning football games. I know there have been a lot of conversations about and getting your first touchdown completion. But as long as we're winning football games, I'm happy.
He's not in on that.
From Juergens in college to the NFC playoff picture, here we go. The Saints still sitting in that number 1 seed, clinching a playoff spot. And the birth of Sunday's win. Potential playoff matchups, you guys seem to like this full screen a lot. New Orleans would have the only bye if the postseason were to start right now. The Saints have won 9 straight, you guys, improving to 8-0 since the beginning of 2019 without Drew Brees. Sweeping any divisional opponent is tough. They didn't do it last year, and they did it without Drew Brees here. What do we make of Taysom and the Saints' win over the Falcons?
Great win. No apologies for a win. Of course, there were some moments that were hairy at the end, but I look at what's coming in the next few weeks. You mentioned they got the Chiefs in week 15, and that's a regular season game. But as we said in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and November, we knew the Saints were going to be players this season. But the question is, what does that mean in January? And I'm wondering if last year's experience with Teddy Bridgewater and then going to Breeze and then losing it, like, how do we correct whatever went wrong last year? Because it's similar to last season. Breeze goes down midway through and someone else is going to take over the reins and maybe be as good or maybe not be as good, maybe be better, whatever you want to say. They win games. And Sean Payton has this way with these players to get them to never have that trap game, that game where, wait, what happened? The Saints lost 35-0 to...
Right.
How do you get the... Because guess what? Breeze, he might come back this week. He might come back the week after. Or does Sean say, gosh, we're rolling? I don't know. Like, Breeze had 11 cracked ribs, 11 bruised ribs. Like, do we rush him back?
Take your time.
I'm fascinated to see. I'm really impressed with Sean Payton, how he gets this team to play every week. They could have lost to, the Falcons 2 weeks ago. They weren't going to lose to Kendall Hinton. But this past weekend, this was like trap game all over it in Atlanta, and they find a way to win. They don't have those dumb losses, which is something to say.
I don't know when Drew Brees is going to get back. 11 cracked ribs? Couldn't you have just one rib? I love people who blindly criticize Taysom Hill when they didn't watch him play. And they saw that he rushed for a couple of TDs, and they're like, oh, he's more of an athlete. He can't really pass the ball. But I've been watching the Saints games, and I was watching him intently because I was curious how he passed the ball. Even though this was his first time throwing a pass TD, he throws the ball very well. He can step up in the pocket because he's not concerned about getting hit. He's a lot different than a lot of quarterbacks that won't take a couple steps forward. One, he's learned from Drew Brees, which he does it better than anybody. But two, he's a physical guy. So if I have to eat a shot just to throw one deep, I'm going to do that. Kyle, you mentioned in the highlights, though, he does have a problem with sometimes handling the snap and then running with the ball. He needs to turn the switch off. When he's playing quarterback, when you're leaving the pocket, you're no longer Taysom Hill, the most athletic quarterback in the game. You're no longer Taysom Hill, the running back. You're not Taysom Hill, the wide receiver or fullback. You're not Taysom Hill, the multi-athlete. You're Taysom Hill, the quarterback. So protect the ball by any cost. Stop leading with your shoulder. Stop running to run guys over. Slide feet first and become a full-time quarterback. He can run with it. We know that. He can throw with it. But what you're going to do, if he is indeed the starter moving forward, you don't want to lose a game because one of those balls that are fumbled on the ground picked up and goes the other way. Kyle, if that ball would have stayed in bounds, the game is over. And the Saints would have lost that. Off of the hills trying to be too tough and run people over. So they did a good job. But just like I've said, and this isn't me criticizing the Saints. Please, Saints fans, don't hop all over me. They're good in the regular season. Scratch that. They're great in the regular season. What are you guys going to do in the postseason? Are you Super Bowl worthy? Yes. So Drew Brees have 2 rings? Yes. Yes, just all of it. Are you guys going to fall apart in the time that matters the most?
They need to add Mitchell Juergens.
You're right.
What's his name again, Peter?
Miles Juergens.
Mitchell Juergens, all right? So you're used to running out of Juergens. You think I would offer some more? You would have some. About the players, they cut them. I have no critique at all for the Saints. In fact, they reached this part of numbness for me, like great numbness, where they're talking about this crazy winning streak that they're on. Their quarterback's out, who cares? They just keep winning, and it's like, yeah, it's just the Saints. And I just give that to them as a compliment, and to Sean Payton as a compliment, that even when they do incredible things, we just come to expect it. And I'm tired of saying it's only about January. I'm tired of saying they have to win a Super Bowl. I just want to take a hot second and tell you how awesome it is that they keep winning like this. With Breeze out, Bridgewater leaves, Taysom Hill's a wild project. We're throwing the stat around. He hasn't thrown a touchdown since BYU. You're not supposed to be that way in the NFL and still win. It's an awesome, awesome thing that they're doing. They got to win some games in January, though. We're going to have those Mondays. We're going to come in, and a Monday in January or February, and it's going to be like, they won! Or it's like, damn, it happened again. It's that Monday morning 7A we're going to have once they hit the playoffs. It's going to be everything from them. But, God, they're so impressive.
When you saw Taysom and you outlined some of the mistakes,